To be an artist is not a matter of making paintings or objects at all. What we are really dealing with is our state of consciousness and the shape of our perceptions. Contrary to perceptions, I am completely devoted to my work, though I don't go around tom-tomming my commitment. I'm still a political revolutionary. The fire never went out of me, but perceptions and realizations change. I have to struggle to change people's perceptions of me. I grew very frustrated with the perception that I'm this shy, retiring, inhibited aristocratic creature when I'm absolutely not like that at all. I think I'm much more outgoing and exuberant than my image. Having a strong race lens means you understand racism is threaded through and institutionalized in all of our systems and our very perceptions, threaded through how someone looks at you, treats you, thinks about you and your potential. Frankenstein did not invent the fear of science. The novel found its audience because it dramatized anxieties that already existed. Although popular entertainment can, over the long run, shape public perceptions, it becomes popular in the first place only if it addresses pre-existing hopes, fears, and fascinations. My purpose is changing perceptions so people with disability, people like me, can get out there and live the lives that they deserve to live. So, we, as human beings, live in a very imprecise world. A world where our perceptions of reality are far more important than actual reality. High office teaches decision-making, not substance. It consumes intellectual capital. It does not create it. Most high officials leave office with the perceptions and insights with which they entered. They learn how to make decisions but not what decisions to make. No man has the right to dictate what other men should perceive, create or produce, but all should be encouraged to reveal themselves, their perceptions and emotions, and to build confidence in the creative spirit. The world is the natural setting of, and field for, all my thoughts and all my explicit perceptions. Truth does not inhabit only the inner man, or more accurately, there is no inner man, man is in the world, and only in the world does he know himself. It's a well-known thing that ordinary perceptions can have a strange aspect when one is traveling. It has always surprised me how little attention philosophers have paid to humor, since it is a more significant process of mind than reason. Reason can only sort out perceptions, but the humor process is involved in changing them. The perceptions of middle age have their own luminosity. I will not bow down to others' perceptions of me, I will only rise in the name of art, love and music. Biases and blind spots exist in big data as much as they do in individual perceptions and experiences. Yet there is a problematic belief that bigger data is always better data and that correlation is as good as causation. In a novel, I could submerge my ego in a character's and let his perceptions take over. These are ideas. I could say that they just came to me, but it would be more accurate to say that I went to them. Ideas, and new connections between ideas, lead you away from commonly held perceptions of reality. Ideas lead you out here. Ideas lead you into the darkness. I'm not interested in trying to work on people's perceptions. I am who I am, and if you don't take the time to learn about that, then your perception is going to be your problem. I have no control over people's perceptions of me at all, and that's one of the things I decided very early on, is that I can't control the way other people think of me. All I can do, especially when it comes to my career, is go out there and do cool, unique kinds of things. Intelligence is the ability to take in information from the world and to find patterns in that information that allow you to organize your perceptions and understand the external world. There's no way to remove the observer, us, from our perceptions of the world. Perceptions are essential in politics. As an Asian American actor, I believe it is important to never settle for the status quo. I feel a responsibility to do everything in my power to create positive perceptions of Asian Americans through my work. You become very angry and depressed that you keep getting offered only these exceedingly demure and repressed roles. They're so not me. That's why films like Fight Club were so important to me, because I think I confounded certain stereotypes and limited perceptions of what I could do as an actress. In a sense, words are encyclopedias of ignorance because they freeze perceptions at one moment in history and then insist we continue to use these frozen perceptions when we should be doing better. All media exist to invest our lives with artificial perceptions and arbitrary values. We must not allow other people's limited perceptions to define us. The human soul is heavy, clumsy, held in the mud of the flesh. Its perceptions are still coarse and brutish. It can divine nothing clearly, nothing with certainty. Although our body language governs the way other people perceive us, our body language also governs how we perceive ourselves and how those perceptions become reinforced through our own behavior, our interactions, and even our physiology. Attention is what steers your perceptions, it's what controls your reality, it's the gateway to the mind. Precisely at the moment when an athletic career is most on the line and fan perceptions of a Herculean, superhuman performance are highest, an athlete's brain may be at its most vulnerable. Equally, we require a collective past, hence the endless reinterpretations of history, frequently to suit the perceptions of the present. It is more interesting to be compared to someone famous, because it lets you gauge what perceptions people have about your appearance. Activating is about changing people's perceptions of overlooked or invisible spaces. A building can become an archetype, invisible, like for a New Yorker, for example, the Statue of Liberty. You look at it, and it disappears into the thousands of times you've already seen it. We do not merely perceive objects and hold thoughts in our minds, all our perceptions and thought processes are felt. All have a distinctive component that announces an unequivocal link between images and the existence of life in our organism. The miracles of the Church seem to me to rest not so much upon faces or voices or healing power coming suddenly near to us from afar off, but upon our perceptions being made finer, so that for a moment our eyes can see and our ears can hear what is there about us always. The process of shaping opinion, attitudes, and perceptions was termed the engineering of consent by one of the founders of the modern public relations industry, Edward Bernays. Spirit borrows from matter the perceptions on which it feeds and restores them to matter in the form of movements which it has stamped with its own freedom. Arguably, no artist grows up. If he sheds the perceptions of childhood, he ceases being an artist. Sense perceptions can be and often are false and deceptive, however real they may appear to us. Where there is realization outside the senses, it is infallible. It is proved not by extraneous evidence but in the transformed conduct and character of those who have felt the real presence of God within. When I would go to the barrio, people saw me as a rich person, but when I'm around rich people, they see me as someone from the ghetto. It's all perceptions. I like moving between worlds. I feel equally comfortable in both. Trust in yourself. Your perceptions are often far more accurate than you are willing to believe. Furthermore, partisan attachments powerfully shape political perceptions, beliefs and values, and incumbents enjoy advantages well beyond the way in which their districts are configured. The funny thing is, people's perceptions of what a song is about is usually wrong a majority of the time, but they're still going to read what they want to into it. Performance or no performance, perceptions do matter. More so the voters' perceptions on the performance of their state governments. The young people have MTV and rock and roll. Why would they go to read poetry? Poetry belongs to the Stone Age. It awakens in us perceptions that go back to those times. Our abilities are limited only by our perceptions. What changes with fame is the perceptions of the individual rather than the individual. People want to work with somebody who feels shame, who worries about the perceptions of others. Dishonesty is something we don't like in others. Visit our website for more quotes. Quoting.com